The evidence is now really clear that competent readers and spellers instinctively think in the sounds of words. They match spelling pattern to pronunciation to remember words and are able to manipulate phonemes in order to generate new words, and they do this easily and instinctively. That is what Wordchain is all about. Of course, phonics instruction is built in, but Wordchain's principal focus is on developing the thinking skills that enable students to make use of phonics in the process of reading and writing. This is new thinking for most struggling kids and may take a great deal of practice to reach proficiency. The first step is to discover which level the student should start on, and this quick series of spelling tests will sort that out for you. They are free to download on the Wordchain website with videos that tell you how to administer and interpret the tests. It also gives you a tool for measuring progress. To be effective, the student should be working at a level that is not too difficult, but not too easy either. They should be able to complete the tasks, but doing so should require them to think. The goal is to teach the student to think about words as competent readers and spellers do. And for struggling students, this requires a considerable shift in their thinking. This means using Wordchain regularly, preferably daily, for 20 or 30 minutes a day or more. Of course, this does not need to be at the same time each day. Students can log in whenever they have some free time. If this cannot be accomplished in the school day, you will be able to set a couple of chains for homework if the student has access to a device at home. The license for each level is 6 months from activation. Used daily as it should be, this should be plenty of time to work through it. We have done this to ensure that students get the regular practice that they all need. Using Wordchain occasionally to make it last longer would defeat the purpose of developing appropriate thinking skills. Some students may get through a level in well under 6 months. You do want to keep the momentum going, so you will have students that will work through 2 levels in a year. Now, the settings can be customized for each student. The score up here, that develops up here, tells the student how they got on. And at the end of this chain, the student has the option to repeat the chain for a higher score. It's possible to get 980 here. And the competitively minded kids often do. And just keep going till they get that 980, which means they've made no mistakes down here. That should be encouraged. Then down here, you can see these feathers. They indicate to the student that you want them to work on this level, and you can set this for an individual or a group. Students should work through all levels, even if they know the phonics involved, in order to develop and reinforce those critical thinking skills. But you may be working, for instance, on initial blends with a group and want that group to focus on these activities along here, which are all about those blends. The students can then go back to where they left off, maybe up here, for instance. Or perhaps the student has a persistent difficulty with getting the difference between p and b, or t and d, the voiced and unvoiced consonants. And even though they've done this section, which is about that once, you may want them to repeat it. I do have a video about how to specifically teach this using these letter tiles, designed to match the font and colours in Wordchain, of course, red for the vowel sounds and green for the consonants. Wordchain teaches the student to both read and spell words effectively and easily. If you want spelling lists as well, you may want to choose a few words from the level the student is working from. They are repeated here for Wordchain 1 to 3 in this manual, or you can just find them directly off Wordchain. But it's really important that the student learns to spell by using that inner spelling voice, saying the words slowly as they write it. Apple. Competent readers do not say A-P-P-L-E as they write. So that manual, as I said before, contains those chains along with some other activities using these letter tiles that build the same skills. Or you could ask a student to make their own selection as they work through the chain. If you want to build on the skills developed in Wordchain, the Agility with Sound website will take you to many resources that directly follow the Wordchain apps, including activities based on these, which teach the most efficient blending strategies. And then there are puzzles at every level like these, which can just be printed off and used in the classroom. There's dictation that follows the Wordchain apps in this manual. And then, of course, the decodable books, about 135, 140, something like that, titles now. Key are these decodable books for older students, some for years 4 to 6, some for intermediate and secondary students, some that work for all ages, which are specifically written to follow the Wordchain levels exactly. This collection of decodables is recommended for older students by the Reading League in New York, one of a tiny handful of collections to receive this prestigious accolade for this age range. These are written in New Zealand. Many of them, like this one, are New Zealand themes, and this one. Clearly, applying these newfound skills to real text makes Wordchain all the more effective.